Brought to you by Sunbeam, makers of the deluxe Sunbeam Mixmaster Mixer, the Sunbeam Wink Awake electric alarm clock, and the Sunbeam cordless wall clocks. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning panel of What's My Line. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And on my left, I would like to introduce one of our favorite of all our visiting guest panelists. We can't have him on too often because he's so good. And to the people of Buffalo, he's opening tomorrow night at your beautiful town casino for a week, and I know everyone is going to want to see him, Joey Bishop.
Thank you, Dorothy. And to my left, a young lady who just returned from one of her most delightful engagements, a visit with her son at the Deerfield Academy in Deerfield, Massachusetts, Arlene Francis.
And now, our Random House publisher that does those wonderful children's books of Dr. Seuss. The Cat in the Hat you're familiar with, but there's a new one called Green Eggs and Ham. I don't know much about green eggs, but I sure know about ham. And here he is, Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
And here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Elroy face of panel moderators. And we've grown accustomed to this face, too. John Charles Daly.
I must say, Bennett, after watching Elroy Face's performance this afternoon when he came in at the latter innings and the Pirates won their game today, I think that's a fine compliment. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming to see What's My Line in the theater or turning on your sets at home. It's nice to have you with us, and we're up to our old tricks, except because the fall air is so hearty and brisk, we're doing some odd things tonight. Panel, get your masks ready because you'll be putting them on very soon. We will have some occupations, but we also have a surprise for you tonight. We will also have two famous mystery guests tonight, and we'll meet our first one after this word. To repeat, a little departure from the normal rules tonight, two famous mystery challenges. The first one to be met right now if the blindfolds are all in place. Are they, panel?
Yes, sir.
With the blindfolds all in place, I would ask our mystery challenger to enter and sign in, please. Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenges, we go to a different form or a variant form of questioning. You ask one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Have you ever studied dentistry?
No.
One down and 9 to go, Mr. Bishop.
Does the World Series have anything to do with your being in town?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you have anything to do in the world of politics?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Well, are you then a representative of the entertainment industry in some way?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Excuse me, John, may I have a clarification?
Yes.
When Bennett said entertainment, does that include sports?
Yes.
Oh. Do you work for a non-profit making organization?
Yes. Bishop?
Would you happen to be appearing at Madison Square Garden?
No.
I thought I had it.
No, actually, I will say there to do justice, Joey, that the question is a legitimate one. Asked in terms of this day, we would have to say no, but there has been a very recent appearance in that area.
Well, Billy Graham was scheduled to appear.
Joey does. Yes, you got it. You
Well,
got it. It is the
That's the least you could expect from a
Reverend
bishop. I'll tell you, I think I was hoping he'd be here.
Well, actually, I think to clarify for those who have not been in New York the past week, Dr. Graham has had a 3-day crusade at Madison Square Garden, but it ended yesterday, and so we could say
I
properly.
thought it was Friday, Saturday, and
Sunday, today. It was
the
finished
end.
today at noon. You were quite right. I was
Oh,
just
I see.
kidding a bit.
Oh.
Because I knew you had it.
Well, I must say.
that's the first time I've ever guessed as many times I've been on.
And by the way, I think you'd make a very good bishop.
Oh, no, that's Bennett's job, sir. You can't do that. I might say we
Now,
consider...
if somebody will please revive my mother and father.
I must say, sir, that it's wonderful to have you in New York, but if memory serves me right, and I think this is a very excellent and apt demonstration of how this world of ours is shrinking. Last Sunday, if memory serves me right, you were in Berlin, and you spoke in Berlin to 100,000 people.
That's right.
Who gathered here within the very body politic of godless communism, this little island. And I'm sure that there's nothing quite as heartening to us, even as far away as we are, to know that when you go to Berlin, there is this outpouring, this rededication to the principles of a God and man's responsibility to
Well,
God.
it was very thrilling because the meeting was held right on the line between East and West Berlin. And I stood on the steps of the old Reichstag. And to preach the gospel to that many people, and the communist people had pulled up 6 tanks and armored cars back of us. And yet there were hundreds of people lined up on the other side watching and listening as the loudspeakers carried the message over there. And about 40% of the audience out before me was from East Germany. Many of them had even come from Poland and Hungary to attend the meeting. And it was really a tremendous thing to see this, and a most heartening one, as you've just said.
Well, you've had a heartening year, I'm sure, because I know that you haven't been home any more than 4 or 5 weeks, I think, in the past 12 months. You've been to Africa, South America, and all over Europe.
That's right.
You're going to stay home a while now?
Yes, I'm going to stay home for the next few months.
Good. We're lucky to have
Thank
you
you,
home
John.
for a while. Nice
Thank
to
you
have
very
you with
much.
us. I might add right now that one of the promises that we made to the Reverend Dr. Graham was that all the money he won we would give to a charity he would name, so we'll throw the rest of the cards up.
John, I think I've discovered this routine of Dorothy's about, are you a dentist? I think
Bennett.
she's talking about Casey Stengel.
Aren't you mean?
Well, I've guessed it myself. I've been trying to figure every week what that dentistry question is, and then I found out that Casey Stengel is once a dentist. Isn't that what you're driving at?
He studied dentistry, yes.
Okay. All we have to do is find out who Mrs. Calabash is.
Some timing, Bennett.
Did
old tattletale.
somebody sign in while I was turned around?
No, Joey, we're just waiting it out.
Oh, I see. I
We're
didn't
just
know.
waiting. But it's a good idea. Let's have a challenger enter and sign in, please. Sign in right there. It doesn't write too well? Well, I'll report that to the management. Addie Lynch, is that right? I'm lucky. Is it Miss or Mrs. Lynch? Mrs. Lynch.
Mrs.
And where are you from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Well, how nice to have you with us. Mrs. Lynch, may I present our panel? Panel, Mrs. Lynch. Would you join me over here now? Tell me, do you know how we keep score on What's My Line? All right, if you know how we...
every week.
You watch it every week? You're a joy to have here, I must say. A real joy to have you here. We'll let the audience in the theater... Why, thank you. We'll let the folks in the theater and those looking in at home know exactly what your line is.
All I'm looking to.
panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Lynch is salaried, that she deals basically in a product, but there is a service actually performed together with the interest that you might have in the product. And we'll begin everything, I think, with Joey Bishop.
Well, first of all, from the way Mrs. Lynch signed in, I'd say she's a very thrifty woman.
That must be chalk with
Would
right
the, does the product you deal in, is it available to both men and women?
Yes,
Is it a product that is found in the house?
yes,
Is it a product that is found specifically in one room as compared to other rooms in the house?
yes,
Would the room be downstairs?
usually.
Yeah, I guess a room would be downstairs, usually. Would it be the living room?
No,
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Would the product be found in the kitchen?
yes,
Is it consumed, this product?
yes,
Would one eat it at mealtime?
yes,
Would it be a main course rather than an accessory to a meal?
could be.
Could be. Has it ever been alive?
Well, I think Mrs. Lynch said, what would I say? And I'm not sure that I know, actually. I would say some of the elements of it might have, at one estate or stage or another of their lives, have been considered to have been alive, yes.
Oh, well, would it be an egg belonging to anybody?
Would
Fish
it-
or fowl?
Would it be an
An
egg
egg.
belonging to anybody, fish or fowl?
Uh-huh.
No. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Lynch, would this be some kind of food that has various components in it?
Yes,
Is it a food that is served hot, usually?
yes,
Is it a food that can be bought in this mixed-up state from a...
Bennett wants to know if it is a food that can be bought in this mixed-up state, in other words, prepared.
yes,
Might it be eaten at breakfast time rather than lunch, preferably to lunch or supper? No.
No. 3 down. Now, this is not to say nobody eats it at breakfast, but that is to say it is not normal to eat it at breakfast, right? That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is it normally eaten at dinner time
well, most always.
by human beings?
Yes, ma'am.
And you say it could be served as a main course.
Yes,
Among these ingredients that go into this particular dish, is there any meat at all?
and what she
Is
said.
there any meat at all?
Yes,
Is there any vegetable matter?
yes,
Is it encased? Is the whole, all the component parts, encased in some form?
yes,
Is
Now,
it in...
what we mean here is you don't run around with a lot of this stuff loose in your hand. Is that your reference?
If you want to
mean,
give me a no, John, that really isn't what I meant.
No, I don't know, but that's what I want to be sure you don't misunderstand us.
I know you do.
yes that you have there has to do with the fact that it is packaged in one form or another.
All right. Here's where I get the no.
Don't get a no, because I'm dead.
No, I don't think that if it were sausage, she would say no to breakfast time. Would you associate this food more with the South than with the North?
well, everywhere.
Everywhere? Well, then I get a no.
Yeah, I would think that there is some part of what you might generally describe as the South in which it is perhaps more common than it is in some elements of the northern climate.
Oh, so it's a semi-yes, huh?
Semi-yes.
Okay. Does this food, after it comes out of the package, have to be cooked or heated in any way
Yes,
to be correctly served?
Mhm.
Okay. Is it bigger than a sausage? Little pork sausage?
yes,
Wait a minute, you've now given us, in other words, are its basic elements bigger than the little pork sausage?
No, I mean what you'd get on your plate if you had it. Of course that's what I mean. I don't mean the whole package. I assume the whole package you get more than a little pork sausage.
But you're talking about the individual elements of
The individual
dish.
serving.
And the elements of the serving. Are all of the elements of the serving larger than a small pork
No.
chop or something? No.
I guess I didn't phrase that very well, John. I meant when one gets this at dinner or whatever meal one is served this, is the portion larger than one pork sausage?
Yes.
You'd have a hard time keeping your friends if you didn't give them more than one pork sausage when they came to dinner.
All right.
Right?
After this is cooked and before it is served, is it usually sliced or cut in any fashion?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Bishop.
I think Mrs. Lynch came to New York looking for a name for whatever it is that she's making. They didn't ask me, but can I have a conference?
Yes, you can have a
Grits.
Well, how many grits?
They eat that for breakfast down there.
Yeah, that's a big...
Any meal. And hush puppies, the same thing.
chitlins.
So it can't be hush
Chippin.
Maybe she does something like Annie Lynch's chicken pot pie or something like that.
That's not Southern particulate.
No.
Even a little particulate.
Sounds like a kind of
Can't
goulash,
help
though.
I know whether it's from some other nation.
Is it... Oh, I'm sorry, we're still conferring?
No, the conferring is...
Oh.
Mrs. Lynch is a Georgia chop suey expert.
Is it something that you can go to almost any restaurant in New York and order, and they would know?
I think so.
They would know. They might not have it available, but they'd know what you were talking about.
Would it... I'm just starting out with would it, but I don't know what I'm going to say after that. Would it be something that one portion, having eaten one portion, would be sufficient?
Well, it would be according to how much of the portion you would...
Quinn, I know what I'm looking. Because you've been running again all around the edges. The southern area, I said some element of is chili con carne, which is actually southwest and then came spreading all through the country. But I think the most remarkable thing about the chili con carne and Mrs. Lynch is that Mrs. Lynch is a traveling salesman for Gebhardt, is it?
That's right.
And she is a young 70 years old and covers the state of Georgia, and her employers say that she does the work of 5 ordinary people, which is a wonderful record. Thank you very much. We'll meet tonight's second mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now for our second mystery guest, as the panel have got the blindfolds on, Joey Bishop is having his perf carefully put in place by Miss Dorothy Kilgallen. And now they're all on the line. Get ready, get set, off, and go. Will our mystery challenger enter and sign in, please? All right, panel, as you know, we return to the mystery guest format of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise. We'll begin it all with Arlene Francis.
Do you work at irregular hours instead of 9 to 5?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
Well, I hope so. Are you a motion picture star?
Questionably so, yes, I suppose I am.
Miss Kilgallen?
Well, are we going to suppose it, or is he?
No, there's no question about it. Our guest is a
I'm
movie.
being modest.
Can you speak another language fluently besides English?
Well, yes, I suppose.
Mr. Bishop?
So far from his voice, it sounds like a child actor. Have we established? Well, it must be a male.
I hope so.
Yes. Are you in a movie that is currently appearing on Broadway in New York?
Yes.
But here, with our guest's permission, this is not to indicate that Broadway here covers a lot of ground, is what we're saying. This could be in off-Broadway, but still in the larger concept of being on Broadway.
Are you in the theater, as well as pictures?
Yes, I am.
Are you related to anybody on this panel?
Not that I know of.
And I'm sure if you were, you'd know it. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you have a title other than Mr.?
No, I'm sorry to say.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Bishop.
Are you from England?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you in a play with a man who has a title?
Yes, I am.
Are you Tony Quinn?
Yes, yes.
He had it right down there on the floor.
I couldn't disguise it very much. I have laryngitis anyway.
Well, actually, that helped, though, Tony. It was way
Sounded like
down.
Martin Gable. I thought it was Marty.
I think all your performances have been so good you should have a title, Tony.
Thank you very much.
Here, here.
And the
Here,
play
here.
is Beckett, we'd better say, too.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
Actually, he does have a title because presently in Beckett, which is, I think, the most exciting thing on the Broadway scene this year, you are King Henry II.
That's right, yes.
So there he is, King Henry. Yes, sir.
I was on the right track when I asked about the language. I was thinking of Mr. Quinn. Then I talked myself out of it and got on the wrong track.
I
But
must tell
it
you
would be
also have
Spanish, wouldn't it?
Was that muttering that
Spanish
we
and
heard?
Italian, yes. Well, we also have a couple of bishops in the play, Joey.
It's an ideal show, isn't it, for a Sunday night?
We think so. We think it's nice to have one bishop on the panel, actually,
Yes.
Tony. And I must say it's very nice to have a man of your splendid abilities as a mystery guest. It goes without saying, I don't have to gild or paint the lily, as the term properly should be used. He has won, I believe, 2 Academy Awards, have you not?
Yes, yes.
In the movies. And he graces Broadway now with Sir Laurence Olivier in what I think will be one of the great plays of the season.
Well, it certainly is a great pleasure appearing with Sir Lawrence. I must tell you, it's one of the great thrills of my life, appearing with such a great actor, such a great person.
I'm sure that this is reciprocated by Sir Lawrence. I hope we can have him here to have him say so.
Yes,
Tony,
sir.
thank you for being our guest.
Thank
It's very
you,
nice
sir.
to have you with us once more. Well, I must say you've done rather well tonight, panel. Congratulations, and we'll be back after this word from our alternate sponsor. And now, Joey Bishop, it's been great fun having you back with us on the panel.
It's been a
Tony
pleasure.
Randall, I think, is going to come in and take your chair next week, and we hope you will be back to fill it again.
Who?
Tony Randall, isn't it?
Oh, Tony Randall.
Next week, yeah. Coming back to fill it. But is that all right?
Wonderful.
I want to be sure. I want to be sure. But in any event, it's a lot of fun to have had the bishop with us on this Sunday night with so many bishops.
Thank you, John.
And on that happy note, good night to Dorothy Kilgallen.
Good night, John. Good night, Joey. Happy Buffalo.
Thank you, Dorothy. And good night, Arlene.
Good night, Joey. Good night, Bennett.
John, the girls in Jackson, Michigan, and Youngstown, Ohio, love you very much. And I do, too. Good night.
Ooh la la. You can call him Chuckles now.
Can I call you Chuckles, Bennett?
No, not that much.
Well, thank you anyway, Bennett, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. This is Hal Sims speaking. What's My Line?